and the elusive 1950 wheat penny. While only the rarest authenticated examples can sell for extraordinary amounts, these coins have inspired collectors across America to search their pocket change, old coin jars, and family collections for hidden treasures. Stay with us until the end, because one small detail could make all the difference, and the next valuable penny might already be in your hands. The famous 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel. 1 cent without a mint mark. At first glance, it may appear to be nothing more than an old rusty penny that has seen decades of use. Many people have actually thrown these coins away because they believed rust meant the coin was damaged beyond value. Surprisingly, that is not always true. Some collectors actively search for authentic 1943 steel cents with unusual characteristics, interesting strike quality, and attractive originality. Even a coin showing rust on the reverse can attract attention if the corrosion is light, the details remain strong, and the piece has not been improperly cleaned. The story of the 1943 steel cent begins during World War II, when the United States needed
enormous amounts of copper for military equipment, ammunition, electrical wiring, communication systems, and countless other wartime needs. Because copper became a strategic metal, the government looked for another material that could be used to produce 1-cent coins without affecting the country's supply of copper. The solution was a steel planchet coated with zinc. This temporary change created one of the most recognizable and talked about coins in American history. Unlike the familiar bronze Lincoln cents that Americans had carried for decades, the new 1943 steel cent had a bright silver-gray appearance when it left the mint. Millions of people initially believed they had received a dime instead of a penny because the color looked so different. Others disliked the new coins because they darkened over time, collected stains, or developed rust when the zinc coating became damaged. Today, those very characteristics help tell the story of how a particular coin has aged over more than 80 years. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which means it carries no mint mark beneath the date. Collectors commonly refer to these examples as the Philadelphia issue. Although Philadelphia produced hundreds of millions of steel cents during 1943, every coin has followed its own journey through history. Some remained safely stored by families who recognized the unusual steel composition from the very beginning. Others entered circulation immediately, passing through countless hands, cash registers, banks, and businesses before finally disappearing into old collections. The obverse displays the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces to the right, with the word Liberty positioned to the left and the national motto, "In God We Trust," appearing above his portrait. The date 1943 sits clearly to the right. Even after decades of circulation, collectors carefully inspect the strength of Lincoln's hair, cheek, jawline, bow tie, and coat, because these details help determine the overall grade of the coin. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat cent reverse. Two graceful wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. Across the top appears E pluribus unum, while the simple yet elegant design reflects the agricultural strength and hard-working spirit of the nation during the early 20th century. On a circulated example, the wheat lines may show wear, yet many collectors still appreciate coins that retain bold lettering and well-defined outlines. Now imagine finding one of these coins tucked away inside an old toolbox, hidden in a dusty coffee can filled with loose change, or resting quietly in a family inheritance. At first glance, the reverse might show reddish-brown rust spots spreading across portions of the steel surface. Many people would assume the coin has become worthless. Experienced collectors know the story is much more interesting than that. Rust develops when moisture reaches the underlying steel after the protective zinc coating has worn away or become damaged. The amount of rust matters significantly. A few scattered spots with otherwise solid details tell a different story than severe corrosion that has eaten deeply into the metal. Collectors generally prefer original surfaces, even when minor aging is visible, rather than heavily polished or chemically cleaned examples that have lost their natural appearance. Condition remains one of the biggest factors affecting auction value. A circulated example with noticeable wear but readable details often sells for only a modest premium over face value. However, when a coin combines strong detail, attractive originality, and an interesting appearance, collector demand can increase considerably. Some enthusiasts specifically build collections showing the natural aging process of wartime steel cents, making lightly rusted pieces an unusual specialty. Another important factor is strike quality. Not every steel cent left the mint with identical sharpness. Coins struck from fresh dies often display crisp lettering and strong wheat lines, while others show weaker details because the dies had begun to wear. Collectors compare these characteristics carefully before deciding how much they are willing to pay. Authentication is equally important. Because the rare 1943 bronze cent has become legendary, dishonest individuals have attempted to alter ordinary bronze cents by changing the date to resemble 1943 or coating copper coins to imitate steel. A simple magnet test offers an initial clue because genuine 1943 steel cents are attracted to magnets, while authentic bronze cents are not. Professional grading services perform much more detailed examinations to confirm authenticity before assigning an official grade. Although this particular coin has no mint mark and displays rust on the reverse, it can still attract interest if the remaining design elements are bold. Collectors often examine the spacing of the lettering, the quality of the strike, the color of the remaining zinc coating, and whether the surfaces appear original. Every small characteristic contributes to the overall appeal. Error coins create another exciting area of collecting. While the ordinary Philadelphia steel cent is common, examples with dramatic mint errors are far scarcer. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, broad strikes, and certain doubled die varieties can command much stronger prices than normal circulated examples. These errors occurred during the manufacturing process and make each affected coin unique. Collectors also appreciate the historical significance behind the steel cent. It represents a single extraordinary year in American coinage when the nation adapted its currency to support the war effort. In 1944, the mint returned to using copper alloy for 1-cent coins, making the steel cent a one-year type that continues to capture public imagination. The auction market has remained surprisingly active for attractive 1943 steel cents. Ordinary circulated Philadelphia examples without unusual features commonly trade for between about $10 and $30, depending on eye appeal and preservation. Better preserved pieces with strong details often sell for noticeably more. Certified mint state examples can bring $400,000, while exceptional condition rarities and spectacular error coins have realized thousands at major auctions. For the rusty circulated example we are discussing today, assuming the reverse shows moderate rust, but the overall details remain fine, the coin could realistically attract around $476,000 in today's collector market. If the rust is limited, the surfaces remain original, and the strike is above average, competitive bidding between collectors seeking an honest wartime example could occasionally push the final price slightly higher. That value may seem modest compared with famous six-figure rarities, but it still represents many times the coin's original face value and demonstrates how history, condition, and collector demand can transform an ordinary-looking penny into a desirable collectible. That is exactly why knowledgeable collectors never judge an old coin solely by its appearance. Every scratch, every patch of toning, every tiny rust spot, and every detail preserved on the design tells part of its journey through more than 8 decades of American history. A seemingly forgotten 1943 steel cent may not always be the rarest coin ever struck, but it remains one of the most iconic and widely collected coins in the United States, reminding us that even a humble 1-cent piece can carry an extraordinary story. Now let's move on to another Lincoln wheat cent that many collectors overlook because it appears so ordinary at first glance. The 1950 Abraham Lincoln wheat. 1 cent without a mint mark is a coin that can still surprise collectors today. Unlike the famous wartime steel cents, this coin returned to the traditional bronze alloy that Americans had known for generations. Millions of these pennies passed through grocery stores, gas stations, banks, and family businesses during the early 1950s. Most were spent without a second thought, and very few people imagined that decades later, collectors would carefully examine these coins under magnification, searching for exceptional condition, unusual varieties, and valuable mint errors. When you hold a 1950 Lincoln wheat cent in your hand, you are holding a small piece of American history from the post-World War II era. The nation was experiencing rapid economic growth, new homes were being built across the country, families were purchasing automobiles in record numbers, and businesses were expanding. This humble 1-cent coin became part of everyday life during one of the most important periods of American development. It bought newspapers, candy, postage, and countless other everyday items, quietly circulating from one pocket to another while witnessing a changing nation. This particular example was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the absence of a mint mark beneath the date. Philadelphia produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents in 1950, ensuring that these coins reached every corner of the United States. Even though the overall mintage was substantial, collectors understand that survival in attractive condition is a completely different story. Most coins entered circulation immediately, where years of use gradually wore away the highest points of the design. The obverse features Victor David Brenner's timeless portrait of President Abraham Lincoln facing to the right. Above Lincoln appears the familiar motto, "In God We Trust," while Liberty is positioned to the left of the portrait, and the date 1950 appears to the right. On a fine circulated example, many details remain visible. Lincoln's hair shows moderate wear, his cheek and jaw retain pleasing definition, and the overall appearance reflects honest circulation rather than abuse or harsh cleaning. Collectors often prefer naturally worn examples because they display the character that comes only from decades of genuine use. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat reverse that remained in production until 1958. Two elegant wheat ears frame the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, while E pluribus unum arches across the top. Even on a circulated specimen, collectors examine the wheat lines, lettering, rims, and overall strike quality to determine how well the coin has survived. A strong strike with bold lettering generally attracts greater collector interest than a weakly struck example showing flat details. Color also plays a significant role in determining value. Lincoln wheat cents are commonly described as red, red-brown, or brown. A circulated fine example is usually brown because decades of oxidation have transformed the original mint red surfaces into rich chocolate or medium brown shades. Collectors appreciate original color and often pay premiums for coins that have never been cleaned or artificially brightened. One of the most important qualities collectors look for is originality. A naturally circulated coin with even wear is generally more desirable than a cleaned coin that has lost its authentic surfaces. Hairline scratches from improper polishing, chemical dips, or abrasive cleaning methods can reduce collector demand considerably. Experienced buyers often use magnification and proper lighting to inspect the surfaces before placing bids in an auction. Although the standard 1950 Philadelphia cent is common, error coins from this year remain highly collectible. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die chips, lamination errors, and broad strikes all command increased attention because they represent unusual events during the minting process. These errors are genuine manufacturing mistakes and create unique collectible pieces that stand apart from ordinary circulation strikes. Collectors also study die varieties with great interest. Minor doubled design elements, repunched features, or other recognized varieties may bring premiums when authenticated by respected grading services. Every year, specialists continue searching old collections in hopes of discovering overlooked varieties that have remained unnoticed for decades. Professional grading plays an important role in today's coin market. Companies such as PCGS and NGC carefully examine authenticity, preservation, strike quality, luster, color, and surface condition before assigning an official numerical grade. Certified coins generally inspire greater buyer confidence because collectors know an independent expert has evaluated the piece. Even a common date wheat cent can sell for significantly more when certified in exceptional condition. The market for Lincoln wheat cents remains remarkably strong because they are among the most popular American coins ever produced. Beginners enjoy collecting complete date sets, while advanced numismatists pursue high-grade registry collections and rare error varieties. This broad collector base creates steady demand for attractive examples across nearly every grade. For the circulated fine example described here, without a mint mark and showing honest wear but no significant damage, a realistic auction value in today's collector market is approximately $300 coins, with especially attractive original surfaces, stronger than average detail, or recognized mint errors can sell for substantially more. Certified uncirculated examples may reach much higher prices, while major error coins or exceptional varieties can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and collector demand. The lesson from this coin is simple but important. Never assume that a common-looking wheat cent has no value. Many people still encounter these coins in inherited collections, estate sales, antique shops, or forgotten jars of old change. Careful examination of the date, mint mark, condition, color, originality, and possible mint errors can reveal a collectible coin that is worth far more than its face value. Every Lincoln wheat cent tells a story that extends far beyond its 1-cent denomination. The 1950 Philadelphia issue represents a period of optimism, economic expansion, and everyday American life. It connected millions of people through ordinary transactions while quietly becoming part of the nation's history. More than 70 years later, collectors continue preserving these coins so future generations can appreciate their craftsmanship, historical significance, and enduring appeal. Whether you are an experienced numismatist or someone just beginning a collection, the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent remains a wonderful reminder that history can often be found in the smallest and most ordinary objects, waiting patiently to be rediscovered. Next. Have you ever looked at a worn 1944 Lincoln wheat cent and wondered whether it could be worth more than just 1 cent? Millions of these coins have survived, and many show years of circulation with scratches, worn surfaces, and damaged dates. At first glance, they may seem ordinary, but experienced collectors know that every old coin deserves a closer look before being overlooked. While most damaged examples carry only modest value, a small number with genuine mint-made varieties or unusual characteristics have attracted serious attention from collectors. The 1944 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during the closing stages of World War II. By 1944, the United States Mint had returned to using a bronze alloy after producing the famous zinc-coated steel cents in 1943. That change alone makes this year especially interesting because it represents an important moment in American history. The nation was still focused on the war effort, yet everyday commerce required dependable coinage. As a result, billions of bronze cents were produced to meet public demand. A Philadelphia example is identified by the absence of a mint mark beneath the date. That missing mint mark is completely normal for coins struck in Philadelphia during that era. Many new collectors mistakenly believe that a coin without a mint mark must be rare, but in reality, most Philadelphia cents from 1944 were made that way. Even so, collectors continue searching through rolls, jars, and inherited collections because condition, striking quality, and genuine mint errors can dramatically affect value. The obverse features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday, the Lincoln cent became the first regular United States coin to feature a real historical figure. Above Lincoln's portrait appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." The word liberty is placed to the left, while the date 1944 appears to the right. On coins struck in Philadelphia, no mint mark appears below the date. The reverse displays 2 wheat stalks surrounding the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Across the top is the motto, E pluribus unum. This classic wheat cent reverse remained in production until 1958 and remains one of the most recognizable designs in American numismatic history. The standard composition of a 1944 bronze wheat cent is 95% copper with the remaining 5% consisting primarily of zinc and tin. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. These specifications provide one of the easiest ways to distinguish an ordinary bronze example from the much rarer steel version that collectors dream about finding. Because the coin in this discussion is described as having scratches and a damaged appearance, collectors would first determine whether the damage occurred after the coin left the mint. Most scratches, dents, gouges, cleaning marks, or environmental damage happen during circulation or storage. Such damage generally lowers a collector demand because numismatists prefer coins with original surfaces. However, not every unusual mark is considered damage. Some imperfections originate during the minting process itself. Die cracks, die chips, retained cuds, struck-through debris, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and dramatic die breaks can all increase collector interest when authenticated. Learning the difference between mint-made characteristics and post-mint damage is one of the most valuable skills any collector can develop. When examining a scratched 1944 wheat cent, experienced collectors begin with the date. Although many damaged dates simply result from circulation, they also verify that the final digit has not been altered. Altered dates occasionally appear in the marketplace, especially when someone attempts to imitate a more valuable variety. Careful inspection under magnification helps reveal whether the numerals remain original. Next comes the weight. A genuine bronze 1944 cent should weigh close to 3.11 grams. If the coin weighs around 2.7 grams and is attracted to a magnet, it deserves immediate attention because it could indicate the extremely rare 1944 steel cent error. Those famous transitional errors were accidentally struck using leftover steel planchets from 1943 and have sold for substantial sums when authenticated by leading grading services. Color also tells an important story. Many surviving 1944 cents have developed rich brown surfaces after decades of circulation. Others display attractive red-brown color, while a small number retain bright original red mint luster. Collectors generally pay premiums for original color because it reflects careful preservation over many decades. Unfortunately, harsh cleaning often removes that natural appearance and reduces desirability. The strike quality varies considerably among 1944 cents. Some examples exhibit sharp lettering, bold wheat ears, and crisp facial details on Lincoln. Others display softer details due to worn dies or production pressure differences. Strong strikes with minimal wear remain especially appealing to collectors assembling high-quality wheat cent collections.